back to another video. Welcome to Sammy G's World of Cinema. Today on the channel, guys, is going to be part one of my January 2026 watches. I absolutely love making these videos to give you guys a bit of an idea of what I have been watching of late, whether that's physical media watches or cinema trips, all that kind of stuff, really. It's just great to give you guys an idea of what I have been watching month by month, and it could be like new releases or films from way back when, the whole shebang, really. So anyways, guys, enough waffling. I'm gonna just get right into this straight off the bat, a bit like with the Magnificent Seven last year on New Year's Day. I also kickstarted my 2026 movie diary with another Western, and that is the original Stagecoach from 1939. And this was really enjoyable, actually. I did really like this one. John Wayne, who kind of was coming onto the scene at the time. I just thought it was an interesting kind of like to learn about kind of this sort of Western town, what is at stake here, and why they've got to like relocate on this carriage, and how long have they got to stay in this like relocated spot for like how long it could be. I didn't know, really, but yeah, it was interesting. I really did love the whole again, a great trope of Westerns is the whole like cart race and horse race scenes, and yeah, it has that very kind of cinematic feel about it. So good film, that, and John Wayne was probably my favourite character of the film, actually. So Stagecoach, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 there. Then, guys, as you know, I've been really getting back into Jim Carrey's filmography, wherever that's revisiting like majority of his films or checking out some of his films for the first time. And on New Year's Day, two completely different films there, lol, I went back and rewatched Mr. Popper's Penguins. Now, yeah, this film, it's got its cracks, it's got its flaws, but you know what, guys? Jim Carrey is what makes this movie, I suppose. It's all right. It's nothing great, nothing to write home about, and I have watched this a few times. Obviously, just right after this film came out, and it's a film that I don't think has aged particularly well, but there's good fun to be had. Jim Carrey, so charismatic, and he is what carries this plot, and he is just, obviously, he's had this like saddening news with the passing of his father. He is there to kind of take on like his legacy, like looking after like this penguin, and then another penguin follows and comes into the picture. He has a little bit of a wishy-washy relationship with his daughter, and like their mother is not really all too fond of him and stuff, but his son does still get on really well with him, but him and his daughter don't see quite eye to eye, as you see at the start of the film. But yeah, this is a daft, cheesy, fun movie, guys. There are some cringe parts to this movie, but there's enough there to have fun with it, I suppose. It's kind of a bit of a sentimental movie in some aspects as well. So Mr. Popper's Penguins, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, because it's nothing great, but it's harmless fun at the end of the day. Then me and Ollie had a rewatch of Baby Driver, and this might well just be my favourite Edgar Wright movie. I absolutely love Edgar Wright. I think he's just such a great director. He's not made like a bad or duff turkey movie, in my opinion. And yeah, this was just great, going back to this one after a couple of years. The pacing, the choice of characters, whilst there are like two controversial actors in there now, kind of just to separate the arts from the artists. You know, like both the main leads still put on really good performances. It's just a really cool side story with Baby and Debbie, who works at that diner. So there's a cool side story there, but there's a really great kind of, it's got a really great blend between like a bit of a crime sort of stylistic feel of the movie, but kind of delivered brilliantly with an amazing soundtrack, a great, you know, sort of like really great car chases throughout. And yeah, I just think this is such a great story. I love the scenes between the main character, Baby, and his relative as well. The bank robbery opening scene, it really kickstarts this film really well. It kind of did remind me a little bit of The Dark Knight in a way, with similar how that kickstarted into the picture here. So yeah, brilliant stuff. And Baby Driver, I think, is absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10 there. Then my first cinema trip of 2026, and I went to the Market Pavilion here in Blythe, and absolutely loving the new cinema here in Blythe. It is just really great to kind of check out a lot of these new releases, and it's only a stone's throw away from here. And despite missing out the previous entry, which was The Way of Water, it was still a fantastic, sorry about that, guys. It was still great to check out the latest entry into the Avatar film series, Fire and Ash. Now, is this film perfect? No, it isn't. Let's be honest, it's not a perfect movie by any stretch. Is it a bit long-winded with the runtime? Yeah, it is, I guess. But is there enough to carry its weight and be engaged by? Yes. This has all of them ingredients for like a visionary sort of, you know, like a trip and a visionary kind of experience. And that's what this film does. Like the filmmaking side of it, it's undeniable that the filmmaking side of this movie is absolutely off the scale. Front, left, right and centre. And obviously when you see kind of just again the world of Pandora come into the picture, and even some of the characters, you know, are quite interesting. There's some not so interesting characters. I mean, I'm not really a fan of that villain, if I'm being honest. That villain's a little bit of a cock. I don't really care for his character too much. I think he was from the first film, if I'm not mistaken. It was quite interesting. You can tell it was felt very different in tone compared to the first film. Obviously, there's a new sort of rivalry to this one, and yeah, I think are they called the Raiders? Are they called? I cannot remember now. And obviously, kind of like, it's quite sort of different layers with like this volcano underwater and stuff, and then this tropical forest. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting layers to this one, I guess. The main kind of duo is Sully and his love interest, his wife in there as well. Yeah, so it did teeter on a little bit with the runtime, and it did not need to be 3 hours and 20 minutes. I mean, that is a bit ridiculous. But for what it is, taking it for what it is, as I say, there was some quite, you know, slow-paced moments here and there that took things to a grinding halt. There's no denying that this is still a visionary tree and needs to be seen to be believed on the big screen out there. So yeah, really did enjoy this one. Did prefer the first film, I will say that. But Avatar, Fire and Ash, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 there. Right, and then I had a double bill at the Market Pavilion the following day, and I went to go and see... Oh yeah, the latest SpongeBob movie. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, guys. Sam, why did you go and see this? So, as you probably know me and you've seen my t-shirt, I love SpongeBob. I just love it. There's just something about it. I've just, I grew up with SpongeBob, and it's been, I've been proud to say I've loved SpongeBob for the last 20 years. Whilst, don't get us wrong, this is not on the level of the 2004 movie, which is probably one of my favourite ever animated films, and the 3D CGI animation of this is a little bit ropey. It's a little bit rocky. I get it. And whilst this isn't a particularly good movie, do you know what, guys? I took it for what it was. I went into it thinking this is going to be a fun, cheesy 80-minute popcorn flick. Leave your brain at the door and just go with this film. And that's what I did, guys. I just went with this film. It's just very cheesy. The animation style is a little bit ropey, I will say that. But I think for what this film went for, it was not too bad. It was fine. Some of the musical numbers were a little bit ropey, and that this was still a decent time at the cinema. You know, SpongeBob and obviously the Flying Dutchman, where they're on like their own like kind of, bewildering adventure alongside Patrick and Mr. Krabs and Squidward. They're on their own adventure as well for the similar reasons. SpongeBob is wanting to try and make it to the big time to kind of take on that similar mantle as the Flying Dutchman. And he's trying to make himself, what does he say again in the film? Making himself to be out the big guy, I think it is. So, as I say, guys, it's alright. Don't get us wrong, it passed the time. I think it was probably a one and done watch for me. It wasn't too bad, but not a patch on the 2004 movie for me. So yeah, the latest SpongeBob movie, I'm going to give a 6 out of 10 there. Followed that up with a film that's really getting a lot of word of mouth at the minute, and rightly so, and that is The Housemaid with Amanda Seyfried and Sydney Sweeney. And this film was brilliant. I loved this film. Been getting mostly positive reactions, and it's been getting, I think it's been getting at least a 3 or a 3.5 star on Letterboxd. That could have been down to, as well, guys, a great cinema experience. I mean, it was a full house screening. There was this couple that was sat next to me, and they made some pretty funny remarks and that, with a couple scenes here and there that made me chuckle. Mainly this guy that was sat next to me who was canny enough, and he made some quite comedic remarks there. I just really enjoyed how this film would just unravel and unfold as it went along. Something to cling you there on the edge of your seat. You don't know which direction this is going to go in, and I just loved that. Amanda Seyfried is this absolute sweetheart at first, but then you really see a different side to her character that you don't see at the very start, but then you learn to why she's making these sort of real questionable but yet rash decisions. And Sydney Sweeney is trying to keep up the pace. She's trying to keep up with the speed, and how she wants Amanda Seyfried's character to have things to kind of her own desire and stuff, because obviously Sydney Sweeney's character takes on the new job as this housemaid, and look after this couple's daughter as well. But Amanda Seyfried is really just constantly nagging on and try and giving her like a new task and a new challenge to take on, and it kind of just, from the flick of the switch, things either go according to plan or they do not, and it's really just such a fascinating film to watch, and the main guy in it was great in there. He put on a pretty solid performance, and I have to agree with Jordan at Movie Worm. Jordan, I think, said something like, this guy has got it in him to possibly become a future Bruce Wayne Batman one day, and I have to agree with Jordan on that one. And yeah, it was brilliant, and I had such a good time with this one at the cinema. My goodness, guys, that sort of twist and turn and changing direction towards the end, I did not see coming from a mile off. Amanda Seyfried put in 110% into the role. She was fantastic in this film and probably gave one of her best performances from this film. Sydney Sweeney was good, and I know Sydney Sweeney has had a little bit of flack here and there, but personally, guys, I think she's a pretty good actress. And obviously we've got, is it season 3 of Euphoria to look forward to in April. So yeah, and I've seen her in that film called Reality, which was quite good as well. So I've seen her in a couple of things, and she's been pretty good in the acting roles that she's been in. So yeah, this was great. And The Housemaid, I had such a good time with this one at the cinema. I just found it was so original with its premise. I've heard the book is fantastic as well. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 there. Then I had a pre-birthday viewing just the night before I joined the 28 Club. Probably should have watched 28 Years Later. I missed a trick there. But there we go. Anyways, I went back and rewatched. I absolutely love and adore this film. It was love at first sight. I've seen it a few times, and this film, it could on another day, guys, creep up into my top 20 of all time, and that is Whiplash. This is utterly mind-blowingly brilliant. This is absolutely fantastic on every single level. The leading performances from J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller, it is just off the charts. It is just a joy to watch. You don't know whether or not to root on J.K. Simmons to get the best out of Miles Teller. Like, either way, you just can't take your eyes off the screen because the acting is just utterly superb in this. The lighting, the cinematography, the use of jazz music is absolutely fantastic in this film. Kind of the close-up shots of the drum kit, the rain and stuff, it really just kind of adds to those emotional beats as well. And yeah, wow. After this film ends, I kind of need a lie down to take it all in, because it's both just phenomenal, but wow, there's just a lot going for it, and front, left, right and centre. That ending is just so joyous. It is just a great message to sign off. What an amazing, fantastic film this is all round. Is it my favourite Damien Chazelle film? Hell yeah, it is. But I do love La La Land as well. This is just one of the greatest films I think I've ever watched, and it'll always be one of my all-time favourites. I did speak about this in my in the video I did, I think, a couple months back, about films I first watched at school and college, and this was one of them. So yeah, Whiplash, it is no surprise I'm going to give a 10 out of 10, and just what a great night in the night before I turned 28 there as well. Bloody ace indeed, and just one of the greatest films ever. Definitely quite my temper. I was working on my birthday, but I came back home and after work, and it was a good shift all round, to be fair. I had a great night in, and I sat down and I watched Batman Forever. It was just meant to be a rewatch of this on my birthday. I know Batman Forever isn't without its flaws. It's got a fair few detractors, and I can totally get why. It's obviously not on the level of 89 or Returns or the Dark Knight trilogy. I get that. But for what it is, this cheesy, campy, fun time, and Val Kilmer taking on the role as Bruce Wayne, Batman, and I thought Val Kilmer was such a great Bruce Wayne, to be honest. I thought he did a really good job. Obviously, Michael Keaton's my favourite Batman, but I still think Val Kilmer, for what he did a decent job. A very good job. Great fun. I have to say, Chris O'Donnell as Robin Dick Grey, I don't really resonate with his character. I just think his character's a little bit of a knob, to be honest. He's pretty narcissistic. He's just not a very likeable character, to be honest. Just such a sleazeball, very attitudey, and just so negative and that. And I do really like Jim Carrey's portrayal of the Riddler. I mean, I'm such a big Jim Carrey fan, and I do really like his portrayal as the Riddler. And I know Two-Face, played by Tommy Lee Jones, his portrayal does get a little bit of a bad rap, but I think again, just when he's on screen and when he's in the role, there's still enough to be entertained by with what he's given. And I think he did a decent job as Two-Face, in my opinion. And again, the Halloween setting, that setting with the carnival. Oh my God, guys. With Robin, and when he's just swings off that landing, and then he goes down that slide, and then he lands, and then Alfred is there and by the Batmobile, and he's like, hiya. Oh, that scene always cracks me up, I tell ya. But yeah, as I say, guys, a film that doesn't go without its problems, but fun, daft, cheesy time, and the music's a little bit repetitive, but I do quite like that theme in there as well, with yeah. Batman Forever is just a fun time. I do get bucket loads of entertainment from this one, so I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10 there. And one that's actually really bumped up in the score, actually. I'm finding that's a recurring theme with these Batman movies. Then, easily one of the best first-time watches of the month, and to kickstart the year as well. And I did talk about this one in a lot more in-depth in my Unwatched Shell series, but I watched from Billy Wilder, Ace in the Hole. Wow, this film was fantastic. I loved this. This was great. Kirk Douglas gives off a stellar leading performance as this guy who, I have to say, and I had to agree with Roy here, because Roy has a similar opinion to mine on this main leading character, but his main leading character's a little bit of a drip at times and not a very likeable character, but it is Kirk Douglas's performance that really carries that. And even though his character is a little bit of a dipshit and unlikable at times, you just can't take your eyes off the screen when he's on screen. Jan Sterling, who is fantastic in there, and it's just such a fascinating story plot with this missing guy, and this guy is found, and Kirk Douglas is there to accompany him, but he's kind of making sure he's sort of like he's keeping himself A-okay, and he's kind of, you know, sort of like still kind of safe and sound in this hidden spot, and he's kind of on that verge of breakthrough of a career defining sort of moment that could lead him to success in future tense. And yeah, I just think this is an utterly superb movie, and Billy Wilder, so far what I've seen from Billy Wilder, I think has been sheer brilliance all the merry way there. So ace in the hole, I'm going to give a 9 out of 10 there. Right, and then I had another rewatch and of Silver Linings Playbook. Yeah. Oh, this is a good film. This is a good film. Bit of a fun fact as well, actually, while I'm at it. I actually do share the same birthday as Bradley Cooper, so there we go. And then also Robert Duvall, although Robert Duvall is not in this movie, it's Robert De Niro. Silver Linings Playbook, really good film. From David O. Russell's the director, and this has, Jennifer Lawrence in there. And this is great. I love this film. A film that really showcases about mental health. When someone returns home to see their parents, and it's kind of, he's kind of playing a lot of catch up with people. He's trying to find where his ex-wife went to. No matter where he goes, he sees his ex-wife, and there's always like images that come back to haunt him, and he really breaks down. It Bradley Cooper's character, and it's quite a tough going watch at times. But it's Jennifer Lawrence who plays Tiffany, who she lost her husband. Jennifer Lawrence, who's beautiful in this. I love Jennifer Lawrence. Woof, she's beautiful. And it brings both these characters together, and they have amazing chemistry. And yeah, I just loved, again, the whole family dynamic. It's quite a dysfunctional family in this film. And there's the whole thing with the football team, that betting going on, the thing with the dance routine as well, and Tiffany, and Bradley Cooper's character, I forget his name, guys, apologies about that. It kind of brings them together, and kind of what they've rehearsed for, and what they're kind of going up against. Stellar acting, brilliant movie. I hadn't seen this one for quite a few years, actually. It was been a long time coming, this rewatch. So yes, Silver Linings Playbook, I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10 there. Sticking with Robert De Niro, I went back and rewatched one of my all-time favourite films, and yeah, could be getting it up there into my top 20. Still till this day my favourite Scorsese film, and that is Taxi Driver. This film is magnificent. I love this film, absolutely love it. I could either watch Everton against Wolves that night, or I could watch this. I picked the right option. Everton had a bit of a pants result that night, so I made a good call by rewatching this film, and this is absolutely wonderful. Just a perfect example of a character study, sort of like crime drama. And Travis Bickle, you see kind of, he's suffering with PTSD. He's looking at things from a different angle and a different viewpoint. Ever since he's taken on this new role as a taxi driver, it is a life-changing experience for him. He's on the streets of New York at silly o'clock in the morning, but also late hours as well, noticing that things are changing, but he reckons for the worse in like this society. Absolutely madly in love with this girl who is organising this campaign. He notices one or two passengers are in trouble. It's kind of playing on his mind, and he's trying to find out who the people are responsible for keeping these people, keeping them under their own guard, but he's wanting to reach out and be there to protect them. Film of two halves where you see he's sort of going into a different direction, no pun intended, or a different avenue, no pun intended again. This ordinary taxi driver, but then you really see in the second half of the film a shifting tone with his character and where he goes from there, and it's an absolute bloodbath of a final act, I tell you. So the music as well from Bernard Herrmann is absolutely elite. It is glorious. This film is absolutely fantastic. I have watched this film a few times, and every single time I watch this film, I always pick up on something new on it, and Robert De Niro gives off a defining leading performance and a really good side cast there too, with Albert Brooks and Jodie Foster in there as well. Harvey Keitel, Taxi Driver, one of the greatest films I've ever seen, and it still continues to impress me with every subsequent viewing. 10 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic film that. We only continue with more sheer brilliance from here on, folks, because, and this is the second time I've seen this film actually, but me and my very good friend Mike at DGZ had a cinema trip to Tyneside Cinema to go and see Old Boy in 35mm. So this was a second time viewing for me, and it was a first time viewing for Mike. Very jealous of Mike that his first time viewing of this was at the cinema. But I haven't seen this for a long canny while, to be fair. And yeah, this is really good film, this. Is it my favourite, what's the director again, guys? What's he called? Park Chan-wook film? I don't know, but I might have to go back to a couple of his other films to clarify that, but this is really good. Kind of a revenge tale, and done in such a great fashion as well. The main guy, you just feel so sorry for him, because he is captured and imprisoned in this room for 15 years, and it takes him 15 years to break out of this prison room. Then he goes on a rampage to get back at the guy who kept him in prison for 15 years, but also to learn about his sort of like what has happened recently with like his family and all that time he's been imprisoned, who to go to and who to find in order to find out more information about his like family ever since he was in prison for 15 years. And yeah, this is just, this is brilliant. The camera work, the fast pacing of this film is just brilliant. That scene with the squid really caught me off guard at first, and yet it's still a bit stomach churning to say the least. The scene where he's just run down this gang and he's got that hammer is just, it is just ramped up to 11. One of the most classic twists in a film, and you can't predict it from a mile off, like of that reveal at the end. And the main guy does an absolutely wonderful job as this main leading character, who you're really rooting for him to get his own way and get back at the people that kept him locked up for 15 years. I did really like this film on first viewing, but I think I did prefer it on second viewing, which just goes to show what a cinematic experience can do, can elevate your opinion of a film opposed to first time around. Fantastic film. I'm going to give that one an 8.5 out of 10, and really great to see this one with I think it was a full house, and Mike really enjoyed this one as well. So yeah, Old Boy, great stuff, and I'm looking forward to Park Chan-wook's new film because I've got no other choice there. And I did talk about this more in my best first time watches of the year video from 2025, the best first time watches top 10 of 2025 video, and that is Kurosawa's Throne of Blood. Again, saw this full house screening at Tyneside Cinema the day after, or should I say the nights after, I went to go and see Oldboy in 35mm, and my goodness, this film is absolutely wonderful. Is this now my favourite samurai Kurosawa film? On another day, guys. It could just be, you know, I mean, it's a great take on a Macbeth rendition, the rivalry between these two, like, families, these battlements, but both of these best friends, and they're kind of seen into the future. They can't predict where this fortress is going to go and what it entails for each of them. And and that whole thing with the forest and the spirit of the forest as well. The again, the music that really amplifies those battlement scenes. It is just fantastic. A real transition from what is like a bit, it's like almost like two main best friends like on this adventure in this forest, and then once they see this spirit in the woods, it kind of changes things, but you can't predict if it's going to be for the better or the worst. And the samurai action scenes are absolutely just jaw-dropping. It's off the scales, off the charts, and and that main lady side character is a brilliant addition to the story. That ending has a very cunning climax about it. So Throne of Blood, I'm going to give a 9.5 out of 10, and just as fantastic as that first viewing for me. Watched for the first time The Cowboys with John Wayne. This was a pretty good, enjoyable film. Not much rewatchability for me, but I did enjoy it, don't get us wrong. I thought John Wayne, the Duke, was great in the main leading role as this main kind of this sort of main character, this main like kind of, again, this sort of like this sheriff who is under a great deal of pressure when like he's kind of like, he's in a bit of a financial state of affairs. His ranch has been kind of overtaken, and then he recruits a group of cowboys to help him get his own like kind of way back, but also at the same time as that, they are up against this new sort of like gang cowboys that are kind of striding upon their turf and kind of like following their trails as well. Things can kind of get a little bit rash and blown out of proportion, and he kind of like is there to train up this sort of like this young group of cowboys to take on this new rival gang as well, but to help out John Wayne's character, like get back his own like sort of like his own ranch and his herd as well. A very enjoyable film. I did really like the main side character in there as well that comes in midway through the film. Great kind of journey as well, following this set of characters. Good cinematography. I didn't realise John Williams did the music in there. Also, that's it, Bruce Dern plays a good kind of villain to this one as well. And that scene where the characters are kind of all lined up as that, it was quite an intense moment, and you don't know how that's going to go. Is this going to spiral out of control? Good film. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. And yeah, decent run time. It didn't outstay its welcome, being 2 hours as well. And sometimes some of the best Westerns can gun up to 3 hours, and sometimes that's the best way about these westerns. So yeah, The Cowboys, I'll give that one a 7 out of 10. Then the second to last one for this video, and I really don't have a lot to say on this film. It was taken from the Woodfall BFI box set, and that Woodfall set, I'm gonna be honest guys, so far it's been 50-50. Couple of films I did really enjoy, and there's a couple of films that I think is a little bit middle of the road for my liking and a little bit on the average side of things there. And that is the film The Girl with Green Eyes. Yeah, this was quite dull, guys. Don't get us wrong, it wasn't terrible, but it was quite dull as well. And I probably don't have much desire to go back to this one. I did like how it was started, though. It started as this light-hearted film at first, set in Ireland, and then when you get this absolute sleazeball character come into it, he's kind of cheating on his wife, and he's looking to go to the countryside with his main girl. The main girl, the actress, did a good job, but that main guy in it, fucking hell, he was just a sleazeball and very arrogant, quite unlikable. There was some good cinematography with the countryside and things, and you know, that kind of the streets and the shops in Dublin in this film. Don't get us wrong, and Dublin is somewhere I'd love to visit someday. And yeah, I did like the cafe scenes. The scenes by the bookshop was pretty pleasant. But other than that, guys, this film didn't do all that much for me. After I watched this film, I kind of had my meal, and I was thinking about more what I was eating than what I just watched, which was this film. But it wasn't bad. It was okay, average at best. I did like the whole scenes with the family table as well. There were some decent characters, but The Girl with Green Eyes, I thought more about this one, guys. I don't think it's one I'm going to go back to again. Nah, it wasn't for me, that one, guys. So hopefully the next film from the Woodfall set I will enjoy, because yeah, this was a little bit... This wasn't great. I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. But we're going to end this first part of the January 2026 watches with something much superior, and continuing on with my Jim Carrey sort of like binge marathon, whatever you want to call it. And this was a first time watch of Man on the Moon, the Andy Kaufman biopic. And for someone that didn't know too much about Saturday Night Live or Andy Kaufman as a comedian, this was such a fascinating watch. Oh, this was really good, guys. I really enjoyed it. Didn't expect that ending, no. That ending caught me off guard, and I didn't read too much about Andy Kaufman, and maybe going into this film, I guess that was probably the way to do it. But this film was absolutely great, guys. I loved this, and I love Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey in the 90s and the 2000s, he was just at the peak of his powers. He's such a versatile actor, and this is kind of one of his more serious, dramatic roles there. I loved Danny DeVito's character in there as his manager. He was brilliant in there, and just learning about kind of the highs and lows of Andy Kaufman's career, following on the days when he was on Saturday Night Live, or he would be doing these sketches, or he would be on the TV show Taxi. It was such a fascinating watch. And Paul Giamatti, I love Paul Giamatti, and he was fantastic as his best friend in this. You can't see where one sketch, or when they kind of go into and do another sketch in this, you can't predict where it's going to go, and it's quite clever how that was done as well. When you see him being interviewed as well, and he's just going along with it, you know, he's there to please the crowd, but he's kind of wanting to he's wanting to do something a bit original and not be told too much what to do. He wants to do what he wants to do with his career. And yeah, there was a really good message behind that, but I absolutely loved this, and probably now one of my best first-time watches of 2026 already. I really liked the scenes with the boxing and all that as well, and yeah, the scene when he's just playing the record, or he's reading that book to that audience. Yeah, absolutely great stuff. Man on the Moon, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10 there. So yeah, guys, that is the first part of my January 2026 watches. I will be back for part 2 of this, probably early February. And do let me know, guys, have you seen any of these films and what's your thoughts on them? I would love to know all of that good stuff in the comments down below there. And I hope everyone is doing wonderfully well and having a great weekend as well there. So thanks for watching. Cheers for stopping by. And until next time, I'll see you for the next video. Bye-bye. Take care, guys. Thank you so much.